up, everyone? Hope we're all doing well. Arman Tsarukyan has came out and said in an interview that he declined a fight against Mateusz Gamrot in July as a main event of a Fight Night card. And to be honest, lads, I'm conflicted on this because on one hand, I understand why Arman Tsarukyan declined a fight against someone like Mateusz Gamrot. On the other hand, I hate this day and age of UFC fighters picking and choosing who they should fight next, because to me that is cherry picking, and one of the things what really ruined boxing in my opinion is cherry picking. So I hate it when a fighter's like, no, I'm not gonna fight him, no, I'll fight him, I'm not gonna fight him though, and it gets into that whole thingy, because the UFC for a very long time used to back it and say they'll fight anyone, they will fight anyone, they have to fight him, they have to fight it, whoever it may be, the fights will be made. Nowadays I'm struggling to say that, but in this instance I do understand where Arman Tsarukyan is coming from, even though I really do hate it. Now, he doesn't actually say in this interview that he declined a fight against Mateusz Gamrot, but that's what's been reported and speculated, that it was Gamrot that he turned down a fight against. In the interview he does says, I am number 1 ranked, why would I fight number 10 ranked? I don't know if he was just saying that's like parrot, you know, like just saying it as like he's rolled off a tongue better or what. But if he actually was going off number 10 ranked, that'll be Renato Moicano, which again, I would understand why Arman would decline that fight, considering Moicano just lost his last fight. And same goes for Gamrot, he lost his last fight to Dan Hooker, I think a year ago. And he even says in the interview, yeah, I would have fought Dan Hooker because he's got a winning streak right now, or ranked like, what, 6 or somewhere around there. I would fight a top 5 guy. And to that I say, fair enough. You could match him up against Paddy, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, the rematch, Dan Hooker. There's a lot of names right there you could match him up against, even Ilia Topuria, but let's be honest, that's not going to be happening. And he does go on to say if he was offered a fight against Ilia Topuria, he would start a camp right away. And as we all know, that Ilia Topuria is going to be fighting at UFC 317. He's already started his camp, so I really doubt that fight's going to be in the makings right now. Now, the only defense I'll try and make for the UFC trying to make Gamrot versus Tsarukyan, because Tsarukyan has labeled this as a bit disrespectful towards him, because he is, again, number 1 ranked, compared to Gamrot, who's like, I think, like, you know, closer to 10, you know what I mean? He's not in the top 5. The only reason I would say, yeah, you should go for this fight, Gamrot does have a win over you. Now, I do believe that Arman Tsarukyan won that fight, but regardless, Gamrot was the last person to beat you. And the last time that we saw Arman Tsarukyan fight was over a year ago when he fought at UFC 300, where he beat Charles Oliveira, which was quite debatable in all fairness. You know, but it's not like Arman Tsarukyan's been smoking everyone in the lightweight division, and, you know, you can't argue that anyone else can fight for that title. There's a lot of arguments for plenty of people in that lightweight division to have a title shot right now. Arman's best wins is Beneil Dariush, who's about 500 years old and has lost his last 2 back-to-back and hasn't fought in about 2,000 years, and also Charles Oliveira, which again was very debatable. And although I understand the reasoning from Arman Tsarukyan, it does make me think, man, I miss like the Robert Whitakers of the UFC. I mean, when Whitaker lost to Adesanya, then went on like a 3-fight winning streak against top 5 guys in the middleweight division in order to get his title shot again. That is exactly what I miss in the UFC. None of this, I'm not going to fight him, I'm not going to be fighting him, I want to fight a title shot instead. You got it with Ian Gary recently, beat number 13th ranked Carlos Prates, and is like, yeah, I'm not going to fight Joaquin Buckley, even though it would make a lot of sense. I just want a title shot. No, it doesn't work like that. And unfortunately for Arman Tsarukyan, he's in a very weird situation right now where the UFC really aren't a fan of his, considering how he left his last fight, where it was meant to be a big fight against Islam Makhachev, a big rematch, and a day before the fight takes place, he pulls out. Now, I know a lot of people speculate whether it was weight cutting or whether he was actually telling the truth. Regardless, he did pull out, like, what, less than 24 hours before the fight. So, of course, the UFC are going to hold a grudge and not exactly going to reward him with any sort of big fights. You know what the UFC are like? They are very, very fucking petty, and I feel like him getting offered Gamrot was a way of showing the frustration with the UFC with Arman Tsarukyan. But what do you guys think about Arman Tsarukyan and his whole situation going on with declining a fight of Gamrot? Who do you think that Arman's going to fight next? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.